Diary of a Wimpy Kid was one of the greatest books of all of our childhoods, I'm sure. And I think everybody can agree on that. I read these books all the time in school, bro. It was one of the only book series I would actually read. And if I'm being totally honest with you though, I would just mainly look at the pictures. You know, I've already made a video talking about all the characters in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And you know, the one situation I really wanted to talk about that I haven't yet is, of course, for context. In the third Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, obviously since everybody's getting older, they had to completely change the cast. And of course, one of the most hated changes of all time was the actor for Rodrick. Now, in the first two movies, it was this guy named Devin Bostic, and everybody was like, this dude fits Rodrick. He sounded and acted exactly how they imagined Rodrick to be. And in the third movie, the actor for Rodrick was this guy named Charlie Wright. And of course, since the first three movies were heat, alright, they expected them to come back with a bang for the long haul movie. But no, they sold the bag heavily. That shit was trash. It had a 19% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And the audience score was 30, and they're usually pretty lenient with scoring movies. What's crazy is they actually had 2 more movies planned after the Long Haul movie, but they never even made them because the Long Haul movie flopped. They didn't want to risk having 2 more flops in the books, which, yeah, it probably would have happened again if they didn't change anything. And the moment everybody saw this actor for Rodrick, Charlie Wright, they were like, what happened to Rodrick? At the end of the day, it's not Charlie's fault at all, you know, he's just doing his job. But regardless of that, everybody hated Charlie, alright? They did not want Charlie to be in the movie, but at that point, it was too late. The movie was already ready to go. Like, it was scripted, filmed, and they kind of spent like $22 million on the budget, so they didn't feel like redoing anything. There would have been a lot more time and energy wasted if that was the case, so they just decided to roll with the shitty plot. Everybody was like, what the hell happened to Rodrick? I mean, the party he threw in the second movie was just absolutely legendary, bro. Like, there is no other party I have seen at that point in my life. So obviously, after I've seen that, I'm like, okay, I had really high expectations for high school parties. I was in like 1st or 2nd grade, I think. I don't remember, but I was like, yo, this shit's crazy. And of course, we can't forget Loaded Diaper, all right? That was just peak, bro. This dude was always cooking up heat in the garage. And, you know, people were saying that this new guy, Charlie Wright, you know, he didn't exactly fit Rodrick. It kind of went against everything from the first 3 movies that we saw. You know, I feel like the first 3 movies, like, you know, the actor just exactly fit what they were going for. But in this movie, I don't know, he was just kind of talking about, like, his van a lot and talking about buying a van. I mean, that's not really what Rodrick was all about, you know what I mean? Like, he did have a van, but, like, I mean, he wasn't obsessed with vans, he had a band. Like, what happened with Loaded Diaper? I don't know. It was just completely out the window in this movie. Everybody was upset, of course. They were leaving terrible ratings for this movie, and they were saying it was like one of the worst movies ever created. I mean, there is a lot worse movies out there, let's be honest. Like, who the fuck is watching Ratatouille? It could have been as bad as that. But still, it was a downgrade from the last 3 movies, 100%. Because to be honest with you, I really did like the book, despite the low attention span and, you know, iPad kid-like tendencies. You know, I read the whole thing somehow. But basically, like, the beginning of this movie, I mean, it already starts out as Greg becoming a meme. So, you know, it's not exactly the best plot. I mean, this movie dropped in 2017, by the way. So I think by then we were past the memes with, like, the really bold text as like a caption, and then all of a sudden he wants to get in a YouTuber's video, and I don't know, this plot sucks, bro. It's terrible. So no wonder why people hated this movie. It did not match the plot of the book at all. So obviously it just did not sit right with people. And of course, you know, the actor change, you know, was very distinct for Rodrick. So obviously people were really laser focused on. At this point, like, there was a whole hashtag around it that became a meme. It was called hashtag notmyrodrick. And everybody was posting hashtag notmyrodrick on comparisons of the old and new actor. And at that time, it was also a meme to show people's lookalikes. So he was getting compared to all kinds of people. Like that one dude from the Lorax that looks like an emo kid. And this was all over the internet. I'm not even kidding you. At this point, I wasn't even really like tapped in with the internet, but I was still seeing this a lot. So obviously this trend went insanely mainstream. Everybody was talking about it. But of course, at this time, you know, he went completely MIA off the internet. off of acting. Like, he didn't really do anything besides this one movie. Because at that time, I'm sure literally everybody on the internet was dogpiling him. Like, I could only imagine how shitty that is. And it was really for no reason at all. Like, he was getting dogpiled because he acted as Rodrick. I mean, the memes are one thing. Like, obviously, it's pretty funny. But, you know, there's a certain point where it just crosses the line. To a point where he decided to talk about it on YouTube. And he talked about how the whole not my Rodrick trend eventually just ruined his life, and it just wasn't the same anymore, and he was just gonna be stuck with that shit forever. And the moment this video got some traction, it actually hit my recommended, and I was really curious as to what happened to this guy. So, you know, I clicked on the video as I do, and this is what he had to say about it.
For Rodrick in the new Wimpy Kid reboot, I immediately thought I wasn't going to get it. I figured, you know, they would go with a bigger name actor or something, but I still went, and I kind of half-assed it, but to my surprise, they liked me enough to have me come back and read again.
So yeah, I mean, he originally half-assed the role, and you know, he didn't really seem passionate about the role at all. And the directors probably thought, they're like, oh my god, this is perfect for Rodrick. Rodrick doesn't care, so this is absolutely perfect. The memes for him, you know, was kind of a coin toss. Like, some of them he thought they were funny, some of them not so much. And you know, that's understandable, because at times it can get really annoying when everyone's just clowning you 24/7. And when people are literally probably going up to you in public being like, oh my god, that's the new Rodrick. Ew, oh my god. Like, I wouldn't even want to go outside, bro. I would deadass be afraid to go outside if I'm just getting clowned everywhere I go. But honestly, shout out to Charlie Wright, bro. Like, this dude actually seems like a cool guy.
I don't know how much of the hate towards me was because I was replacing Devin Bostic, who, by the way, did a great job in the movie.
Sending somebody death threats over a Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie is crazy work. How the fuck does anybody have that much free time? And who in their right mind can just sleep at night knowing they just sent this dude a death threat for, like, no reason? Like, all he did was act in this movie for a bag. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, the movie was not good, but still, nobody should be doing that type of shit. And what's crazy is, like, he's saying that people are still going. Like, there's still stragglers left behind nowadays that are still spamming that shit. Like, can you just move on from 2017, bro? Like, it's dead. The meme's over. The movie's like 7 years old, bro. Just move on.
Life moves on. I did go through a depressive episode for almost 3 years afterward.
Honestly, yeah, I agree with him there. It's one of the worst feelings. Like, that shit is terrible for your mental health. Like, constantly being clowned on social media, and especially the death threats, because now your reputation is the Rodrick actor that everybody hated. So obviously, you know, I would understand how that would ruin, like, his mental health, his acting career, etc. And, you know, I feel really sorry for him, because nobody should go through that over a not my Rodrick meme. Like, people just took it way too far. But then he goes on to say that, well, he didn't even really like acting to begin with, though, so, I mean, shit. I mean, he was just in it for the bag. I respect it. You know, because there's some videos that I just don't want to make, but I do it anyway because rent is due. I mean, some of you may say rent cannot be this high, but it is. Trust me. But yeah, he really didn't do anything to deserve hate at all. He just acted in a movie. And I mean, if you feel like he didn't do a good job, I mean, that's one thing. That's how you feel about it. But death threats is another. That shit's crazy. I mean, you know, the directors and writers did a shitty ass job too. They didn't exactly put him, you know, in the best circumstances to do his job. They kind of made a shitty ass movie to begin with. After 3 years, he was dealing with all the self-esteem issues that came with the internet hate. He was finally able to just move on from it and continue in his future endeavors. I don't know why people focus so heavily on the Rodrick actor. I don't know. It could have just been because of the drastic change, and like, there were some people that were diehard fans of this first Rodrick actor. Maybe that's why. Maybe they were just really upset to see him gone. But the whole stan culture and stan-based culture is just absolutely insane, bro. Like, him just being an actor in a movie is not that deep. But apparently to these Diary of a Wimpy Kid Rodrick diehards, I guess it was a huge deal. But nowadays, you know, he's got a YouTube channel and he's also pursuing modeling. So, you know, I hope all goes well for him. And yeah, thank you all for the support on my last Diary of a Wimpy Kid video. If you guys are interested in the series at all, you know, give that a watch. It'll be right on the end screen. And yeah,